flaps here. I noticed that one of the bolts had already pulled through on here, so what I'm trying to do now is wrestle it off, and I'm gonna put a piece of sheet metal across here, steel, and kind of replace the washers. I think we'll reuse the washers, but it'll be a little more difficult for them to pull out like they are, so you can do that on this side and the other. So what I'm doing now is cutting some steel. This is leftover material from the dunnage racks we built for the trailer. Haven't even put those on yet. But what I noticed is that the washers on my mud flaps, I've already started pulling through. They're just barely hanging on there. So what I'm gonna do, line up the holes, put this across there. It's probably overkill for the project, but it's better than going out and buying more material and spend more money when I already have this leftover material. So here we go. Okay, so new plan. Rolling around under there is a bitch. I'm not a little dude, and that is a very little space. And it's almost, I mean, I could get down there with a tape measure and measure each end and get it centered just right, but I've got a better way to do things. I know that this bar is 1.5 inches, and we'll just double check it for gits and shiggles. Yep, 1.5 inches. So if I set this bad boy here at 3/4, which is 1/2 of 1.5 inches, we can find the middle like so. Then once we've got the middle horizontally, we find it vertically. I don't know if you can see those holes or not, but I can barely see them. And once we get a hole in there, we'll see them clear as day. And that, I think, will do it. one mud flap mount. I looked at the other side, and it is in much better condition than the mud flap I'm working on now. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and address making a second one of these for the other side. I'm going to go ahead and gamble that the holes are going to be in the same location. And so I'm just going to use this as a template for the second one. If you know my luck, chances are this is not going to go well. These holes are going to be off. But for the sake of video, I'm going to go ahead and do the gamble and take a shot. So there you have it. Not one, but two mud flap mounts. So we're gonna get those painted up here in just a little bit, and we'll get them on. So this is the known side, people. You might recall I drilled holes for the other side that I haven't even taken off yet. I just want to do a trial fit here, make sure this is going to go according to plan. We'll dismount the other side and check it out. We'll know for sure then. But here we go. So far so good, right? I'm not even going to put the third one in. I can see all the way through it. It's good. It's done. It's ready for paint. Okay, so this is the unknown side. This is the side I drilled without measuring first. Of course. just like the other one, I can see all the way through it, so I know number 3 is going to fit. Time for paint. Not going to get these on today. I've got to go buy new bolts. These have these square shoulders in there. They're supposed to hold themselves from turning on the back side, but that ain't happening. So I'm having to go back up in there and hold them with the vice grips. And laying on the ground, sitting halfway up, is not in my wheelhouse. I'm not the most athletic fella. So we'll get them painted today, but we won't get them on. So it's Sunday morning. I decided to stick around and work on the old Big Tex in preparation for getting out on the road. Just waiting on my IFTA stickers. I was hoping they'd be here yesterday, Saturday. They weren't in the mail when I got in last night from doing my side hustle. I'm hoping they get in this week, and then I can be ready to go Monday, November 2nd is the goal. But I got up this morning, had some projects to finish, one of those being the mud flap hangers. And if you've ever had a GoPro, let's back up to this. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know nothing goes without some sort of a major failure. Got started on the process of reinstalling the mud flap hangers. Was going to videotape it for you, show you how it went back together and actually what caused the failure. And if you've ever worked with a GoPro, you have a button that you use to start photo as well as images. And I'd set up to shoot a shot for the reinstall, and I'd focus the camera, get everything set up, dialed in, ready to go, and then when I was ready, I'd hit the record button and go to work, apparently talking to myself and doing the reassembly. What I didn't realize was the camera was sitting there taking still photos. So what I've got is a small collection of photos of the reassembly as it went back together. So this is the hardware that I replaced on the dunnage rack. You can kind of see these shoulders on the bolt were designed to sit inside those oblong holes on the hanger, so you wouldn't have to put a wrench on here to hold it, but that didn't work out well. You can kind of see how they were ground down and they were spinning around in there, and so I had to put vice grips on there to hold it and get it out. Replace that with the new hardware that's on there, with a regular 14mm head on there so I can put a wrench on there. I did replace the nuts with nylock nuts just like these, so I think we're solid and secure for now. So I replaced the original bolts that were in here with these new bolts. I used the old washers mainly because the holes were oblong and it was real sloppy, and so I just thought that would provide a bigger footprint. These are the washers that were originally on this side, but I replaced it with this rack that we made here with leftover material from the dunnage rack. It's basically got a much larger footprint across the mud flap. I don't think we're ever going to see the problem that we had before. What was happening is the washers were pulling through the rubber, leaving the mud flap hanging and ready to fall off. This side was okay, the other side was much worse. But now both sides are done. This is how they look, this is how they're going to live, and I don't think I'm ever going to have to get under here again unless I catch some road debris or something like that causes a problem. But anyway, that's going to do it for the mud flap hangers. I'm a dirty, sweaty mess, and I got more projects to move on. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The Outlaw Nation, it's on the rise.